What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Carter, and today I'm gonna be teaching y'all how to move out of your parents' crib in 90 days. All right, now I know a lot of y'all can't stand living with y'all parents right now. You want to be independent. You tired of your moms coming in your room telling you to do the dishes at the ripe age of 30. I understand, all right? I was the same way. I needed my own spot. You might be saving money living with your parents, but that peace of mind you have when you live on your own is unmatched. So today I'm gonna be telling y'all how I did it, as well as the tips and tricks you might need in order for you to move out within the next 90 days, all right? So to start off, 30% income rule, okay? So obviously, you're gonna need a source of income if you wanna move out, all right? Now for me, the reason I stayed with my mom for so long is because I was in college, all right? So I couldn't work a full-time job and be a full-time student. It's possible there's people that do it, but I personally could not do that. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get this part-time job and I'm gonna save up my money and I'm gonna thug it out, live with my mom for right now. And it was a blessing, all right? I'm not telling y'all to move out if you're in a great situation. If you're in a good situation, save your money, and it's the smart thing to do, stay at your parents' crib. But if you like me and you know that to really reach your full potential, you can't be at the crib, keep watching. All right, so I was at my mom's crib and I was in college. I couldn't get a full-time job. But as soon as I graduated, I got a full-time job and I was like, yeah, nah. I told myself, as soon as I'm graduating, I'm getting a full-time job, I'm gonna work my ass off, and I'm gonna get my own spot, bro. I need the freedom. So when you get your first crib, you need to be making 3 times the rent, all right? Your income needs to be 3 times the rent. And this is not just for safety cushion, all right? Obviously, you wanna have room to live, but also, a lot of apartments aren't even gonna approve you if you're not making 3 times the rent. You gotta bring in the pay stubs. They have to see that you're making money. And a lot of the times, if you're not making 3 times the rent, they're not gonna approve you. Like, it'll just be that. They'll see how much you're making. Oh, you're not here, we Xing you out. So you need to be making 3 times whatever apartment that you're looking for. Ideally. Now, sometimes they give people a pass, all right? And sometimes they're lenient, but to be safe, that's just a rule of thumb, 3 times, right? So for a lot of y'all, I know a lot of y'all are young, you're gonna have to get that warehouse job, all right? I was working at Amazon before I got the job I'm at now. You might have to work 2 jobs, all right? You might gotta do side gigs. You gotta up your income, all right? That's the first step. You're not going to get your apartment without having money, okay? This is, I don't know what y'all thought it was, but you're gonna have some paper, man. You're gonna have to be getting some bread. So first step, get you some solid income, and ideally make sure it's 3 times the rent. Next, let's talk about the fees that you're going to encounter when you are getting your first apartment, all right? What do they want up front? Upfront costs. So a lot of the time, the deposit for your apartment is going to be your first month's rent, last month's rent. Sometimes they might throw in a little $500 deposit fee, or, you know, they throw in a lot of bullshit, all right? So you're going to need more than just your first month's rent when you are moving into your first apartment, okay? There's application fees, okay? A lot of the times the applications are per person. So let's say the application is $50, you have 3 people, the application might be $150. Account for that. You're gonna have your utilities activation fee, okay? You're not gonna move into your crib with no utilities, bro. You're gonna need Wi-Fi, bro. You're gonna need electricity, you're gonna need water. Utilities fee, that's gonna be a mandatory. They're going to ask for that. Renter's insurance. This one is usually pretty cheap. I believe mine was like $20, but this is another fee that's gonna come up. All of this shit is gonna add up. So you're going to want to make sure you have everything the apartment asks for. Wi-Fi. You're not gonna be in this bitch like a caveman. You're gonna wanna have Wi-Fi. You need to make sure you have money for that. I went with Comcast, and listen, this leads me into my next thing. You need to cut out all the expenses you don't need, because all the extra shit adds up fast, all right? So for me, when I got my Wi-Fi, I went with Xfinity. The reason I did that was multiple reasons. One is what I was used to. My people had that. And 2, my phone bill before was $60. Yes, I had Cricket, but just chill though. So my phone bill was $60 and my internet was going to end up being $60 to $70, right? But when I signed up with Xfinity, they had a bundle deal to where my phone and internet was going to be only $60 total for the whole year. All right, so you're gonna wanna cut costs where you can, all right? You need to be searching for what you can do. If you can find a way to get internet and phone for half the price, do that. If you got some subscriptions you don't use, cut them bitches. Download, listen, I'm not sponsored by Rocket Money, but download Rocket Money and see where all your money is going, all right? If it's not making you bread and you're short on cash, cut that shit, all right? I think I now only have a few subscriptions. I got one that's like for fun. It's $10. I ain't gonna tell y'all what that is. Yeah, I will. It's just a streaming subscription, right? The other one is something that I use actively that makes me money. So I'm going to keep paying for it, but it makes me money, all right? And that one is the Adobe Suite. I use Premiere Pro, Photoshop. It's what I'm comfortable with. It's what I've always used. There are free editing softwares, but for me, that was one that makes sense monetarily, all right? But for you, if you can cut corners and you can save the bread, bro. And if it's not making you money, save the bread. Especially right now. I'm not saying not to have no fun or not to buy things. I'm not saying that. I just went on a trip with my girl and we were spending bread. Like, it is what it is, bro. I'm not saying not to buy things. But understand, if you're trying to get this crib, you're going to need to tighten up the finances for right now. Especially right now. And you're going to need to make more money. Ultimately, that's gonna be the end all be all, bro. You're gonna have to find a way to make more bread.
Hey, y'all, check me out real quick. I know in this economy, we can all use a little bit of extra cash. So check me out. I got y'all with this app called Free Cash. This is not one of your normal ads. You can make money with this right here. I ain't saying you're gonna be able to pay off your car note, but a little bit of gas money, a little bit of grocery money, I'm telling you, y'all need to tap in. It's simple. Play games while you're bored, get you some money. How can you do this, might you ask? Download and create an account with your email and password. It literally takes seconds. Inside, you're gonna see a wall of games. Pick one you actually enjoy. Play through the levels, collect you some cash. It's literally turning your downtime into a side hustle. Why not? Hit the link in my description or scan the QR code on the screen and let's get to this money. Now let's get back to the video.
Now, before I forget, I also want to go back to the upfront costs. Now, if you can, you want to find deals for apartments, y'all. And what I mean by this is, for example, the apartment I'm in right now, it is a 1-1, all right? And they were eagerly looking for people to get in this bitch, all right? A lot of students went home for college. They were offering me the apartment for half the first month's rent. They also took another $50 off of all of my rent because of the type of employee I am. All right, I didn't get into too much detail about it. But you want to find deals. There's so many loopholes in this shit where you don't gotta pay the full amount. Another thing, when you get the apartment, they might have a split payment option. You could pay the first half of your rent at the first half of the month, next half of your rent at the next half of the month, all right? All of these things are going to make your life so much easier and make it so much cheaper, all right? So if you can find an apartment that's on the sale, right? Next, this is something I didn't do because of how eager I was to get out of my mom's crib. And this is no disrespect to my mom. I love my mom, I just needed my own space. But move out buffer, all right? Ideally, you wanna have 3 to 6K saved up. And really it's just 3 to 6 months rent, a rainy day fund, just in case things get bad. You might get fired from your job. You can't pay rent. You wanna always have that cushion. I did not do this, all right? Do as I say, not as I do. I didn't do this. I was just like, yo, I'm gonna get in this new crib and I'm gonna make shit when I get in this bitch. And if you like me, do it. But if you're not like me and you need that safety net, get that safety net. You can never go wrong with a safety net. If you could throw it out in your people's crib for a little bit longer and build that fund a little bit higher, do that. All right. You don't have to rush it. For me, I had to rush it. I was sick of that shit. I was in that bitch for too long. I had to rush it. But if you don't got to, and you're not in a dire situation, you feel like you could just stack for a little bit, stack for a little bit. All right. You stack for a little bit. You're gonna thank yourself in the long run. You're gonna be less stressed out when you get in here, and it can never go wrong with more money. All right, before I forget, you're gonna wanna have decent credit if you can, or they might make you get a cosigner, and bro, you don't wanna get no cosigner, bro. You grown, you wanna handle your own business. So if you can have good credit, you don't always need good credit. My credit ain't the greatest yet, but ideally you wanna make sure your credit is good. That's always gonna make things easier when you're purchasing. So next, let's talk about what you're gonna need once you get approved for the apartment, all right? We're gonna start off with groceries. Make sure you only get the essentials at first, all right? Only get the essentials, bro. You taking shits, you don't need toilet paper, right? Trash bags, you don't need trash bags. You're gonna need first couple weeks of food, so you're not starving in that bitch. You're not just hungry. And even then, you need to go light on that. You need to get you some ramen noodles, get you some protein, get you the essentials. Don't go crazy and fuck up the funds you got because you just paid your first and last month's rent and your pockets is hurting. I know your pockets hurting because my shit was hurting. All right, I know your shit's hurting. So you're gonna want to get the essentials. This means you might not even get furniture yet. I still don't have a bed in my crib, and it's not because I can't afford a bed. I can afford a bed, but I have a couch. All right, so I was like, I'll just sleep on the couch for a little bit. Whoever you need to bring over, they can chill on the couch. Oh, I got my TV that I've had for years. It ain't too much else you need up front. All right, get what you need, and then add everything else later on. That's gonna be crucial if you want to get in the crib quickly. All right, don't go haywire buying extra shit that you don't need, extra posters, extra this, that, and the third. that will all come when you get a little bit more stable. But up front, make sure you got your essentials somewhere to lay your head. It might be an air mattress, but you don't gotta splurge yet. You don't gotta splurge yet. It'll all come together when it needs to come together. But that's for later. That's to figure out later. All right. Next, let's talk about the paperwork you're gonna need. All right. This is gonna be quick and easy. You're gonna need your ID. You're gonna need your pay stub. All right. So remember the job you got. Make sure you're working that bitch for a few paychecks. Ideally 3. I think they're gonna ask for either the last 3 checks or the last 3 months. Can't remember. But make sure you got pay stubs, okay? They're gonna need to see some proof that you making bread. They're not trying to just put any random person in this bitch that's just trapping, bro. And I ain't gonna tell you to get your ass on Photoshop and make some shit shake if you need to. I'm not gonna tell you to do that, cause I really don't even know if that worked for real. But I feel like it do, cause I feel like the people who looked at my shit ain't really look at my shit like that. But I ain't telling you to do that. Don't do it. But do it if you need to. And then if they decline, you decline. But make sure you get that. You're gonna need your bank statements, etc. All right, and a money order with the deposit. All right, these are everything you're gonna need when you're walking in to get your apartment. Do not ignore the physical logistics. All right, these include the moving fees. Okay, these are things that's gonna creep up on you. You're gonna have the first and last month's rent, and have nothing left to get everything to the crib. The U-Haul is gonna be like $79.99. All right, make sure you got 150 saved up for the move. Make sure you got, matter of fact, 50 more in case you need a mover. Like, these are the things you think about. Budget for all of this. Take this into account. Make sure you call the local utilities. They're gonna give you a code for your utilities, or they might have you set it up through the city. Figure out how that works. Get it set up a couple weeks earlier, all right? Like I said, you don't wanna get in that bitch and you don't got hot water. You don't wanna get in that bitch and you can't get on the game because it's dark as fuck because you didn't pay the utilities, all right? Another thing, make sure when you do your walkthrough of the apartment, take pictures, all right? There's a get on the wall, take pictures, all right? Light fixture fucked up, take pictures. Make sure you just take extensive pictures so that one, at the end of your lease, they don't come and blam your ass saying, hey man, y'all fucked my shit up. Nah, bitch, that shit was already fucked up. I didn't fuck this shit up. It was fucked up before. I took pictures, I got evidence. Make sure you have all this because this all matters. And then also you'll have documentation of what you might need to get maintenance. Another thing, this is kind of small, but for me it wasn't small. Get bug spray, bro. Especially if it's your first apartment, I'm assuming you're not moving in another lavish. Get bug spray, bro. It's hot outside. It's gonna be roaches in your shit. Especially for me, it was mad roaches in this bitch, nigga. Like every day I got home from work, roaches in this bitch. I had to spray down the crib twice a day. And then I got them right. No, it's the little bombs. I forgot what it's called, but I started putting them in the crib, like in the corners of the house and in the cabinets and shit. Gang, that shit cleared the roaches. It cleared the roaches. That's the little things you need to invest in. Quick $20, 10 for the bug spray, 10 for the roach combat shit, the barns. And I'm telling you, they need to sponsor my ass. That shit did wonders. It did wonders. Lastly, let's talk about the psychological component of getting your own crib. You are now a free person, all right? Man or woman, whatever. You don't answer to nobody, but that also means you're responsible for whatever happens, all right? You get fired, you're gonna have to figure it out. You feel lonely because you in this bitch by yourself? Who gives a fuck? This is what you signed up for. So you need to take into consideration all of these aspects. Make sure you have a backup plan. Make sure if you do somehow go under, you got somewhere to go. And if you don't, better be working your ass off so you don't go under. Make sure you're being smart with your finances, not living above your means. If you don't got it, don't get it. All right, and I'm not perfect with this, y'all. I'm not perfect, but I do what I need to do to live. You feel me? And at the end of the day, it's all building blocks. It's all baby steps. Getting your first crib is, to me, one of the biggest steps you can take if you want to be your own person. Like, you need your own crib. There's no better feeling than coming home to a crib and knowing it's yours. Like, you step in the spot and can't nobody tell you shit. You don't gotta, like, if the crib is not clean, it's because you ain't clean that bitch, and you can do what the fuck you want in your shit. You feel me? If I wanna beat off 8 times in this bitch on the couch, I'm gonna go beat off 8 times in this bitch. I'm honest. I'm bullshit. All right. I need to end the video because I started to play. Oh yeah, man. That is basically all the essentials on how you're gonna move out in 90 days. I have in the description made for you guys a budgeting and financing tool. The ones I used when I moved out that I made, you'll be able to plug in your finances. It'll show you if you're above or below 30% your income. It'll track where all your money's going. You'll be able to budget with it, as well as a move-in checklist. All right, this is a bundle deal. Go get it in the description. I promise y'all it's gonna do y'all wonders when y'all are trying to get y'all first crib. So go tap in with it, man. And if this is helpful, make sure y'all leave a like, comment, and subscribe on the video. And I'm gonna rock with y'all in the next one.